Hey guys, it's Trevor, and today I'm going to be talking about the past decade of gaming or so. I know I'm cheating here with using 2010 to 2021, but given the past 2 years have kind of been COVID filled and they didn't feel like full years, I figured we'll combine them together and make 1 year. And yeah, here we go. We're going to talk about all the picks of games that I've enjoyed throughout the years and such. So let's get started. The first game on the list that really had an impact on me is God of War 3. Now, so God of War 3 is one of those games that I really enjoyed the prior games for. I played God of War 1 and 2 multiple times on PS2. And I waited, I don't know, I want to say like 6 years for the third one. And it finally happened. I was super excited. And I just remember it looked amazing. The remaster looks amazing as well. And I thought it was a really good send off for the end of the Pantheon arc for God of War. That's one of those games that always stuck with me, and like I feel like not many people got into because they thought Kratos was just like an emotionless character who was just rage and that was it, which he really wasn't. The next game is going to be a Wii game, actually, from the original Wii, and this is Monster Hunter Tri. The first game of the Monster Hunters that I've played, and that's what started me on this journey of becoming someone who's, I'd like to say, semi-decent at Monster Hunter. I put over, I want to say, 500 hours into Tri, which was a lot because that was back in the day when I didn't have as much time and I didn't stay up super late and I didn't have a DGen schedule. So, I feel like 500 is a lot. I played pretty much every weapon in that game. I could use sword and shield, switch axe, lance, bowgun, longsword, greatsword, hammer. Yeah, because that one had very limited options for weapons, I remember. And that was probably like my favorite Monster Hunter, to be honest with you. Had my favorite monster, which is Legiacorus. It had underwater combat, which I wish they'd bring back. I didn't think it was all that bad. People who complain need to shut up, and this is why we don't have nice things. They had Gobel, they had Sideos, they had Jen Moran. They had pretty much all the things I liked. Because Elatron was the final boss of online, Sideos was the final boss of offline. You had so many underwater fights, you had Ignactor, you had Leviathans, you had pretty much everything you could want. Despite only having, I think this game only had like 20 monsters. It did not feel like 20 monsters. Alright, moving on, we're getting to Transformers War for Cybertron. This is one of those nostalgia things, because I was a huge fan of Transformers growing up. I watched all the shows. I didn't watch the Generation 1 shows, like G1, but I did watch the Cybertron series. I think it was called the Unicron arc, is like the official name for it. There was Armada, Energon, and Cybertron. I loved all those. So when this game came out and it was like an actual shooter game that didn't look terrible, I picked it up and I thoroughly enjoyed it. It's High Moon Studios, which I don't think you can get these games anymore anywhere, because I remember once I looked and they were like impossible to find. I think that was like a contract issue or something. But yeah, these are really neat. These are really cool to live like the G1 experience, because I didn't watch the show, obviously. I've seen the 1985 movie, but that was to the extent my knowledge of Transformers G1. But yeah, it was fun. I enjoyed it. I thought it was really well written, and I think this was tied in with a book that I read. But yeah. The next one on this list is actually a game I wouldn't be playing until this year currently, and okay, I'll be honest with you, I only started playing this game because of a girl. Yeah, because I like this girl, and that's the reason I started playing it. It is a Final Fantasy 14, which is an MMO. And if you had told me in 2010, when this game originally came out, I'd be playing it at some point in the future, I'd be like, hell no, I'm not. I don't play MMOs. But here I am. But yeah, it's fun. Rating's fun. Doing trials are fun. The one thing that isn't fun is leveling, but thank God you can pay to skip and just... You only have to do the last stretch. You don't have to do like the entirety of the level. But yeah. I see why people play MMOs, and like I see why they have a huge fan base and whatnot. Now the final game for 2010 is going to be Assassin's Creed Brotherhood. Now let me tell you, I love Assassin's Creed. I've played literally every single one of them from the first one up until Odyssey. And I can already hear all the people just being like, they're the same game, it's just rushed content and year after year. It's like, shut the fuck up. Like, if you haven't played every single one of them, I feel like you shouldn't be able to say anything. There's too many people who play one or two and then, like, see gameplay of, like, 5-minute gameplay of, like, the new one that comes out, and they're like, it's just the same thing. It's like, that's literally every game at its core. Every single FPS game is literally just shooting the other enemy team, shooting enemies, etc. Every single stealth game is just hiding, rinse, repeat, hiding, rinse, repeat, finding different patterns, hiding, rinse, repeat, and then every RPG is just leveling until you can get strong enough to beat something, and then etc. It's like, I don't know why certain things get so much hate and like other things don't. Like, I don't understand the requirement for why people hate certain stuff and then why people will not hate other things. But yeah, anyway, I know a lot of people love Assassin's Creed 2 and that's like their favorite and like hands down everything, but to me, Brotherhood brought so much more to the table than 2, just in terms of like mechanics. Like, they had the whole the Brotherhood mechanic, which you could train other assassins and like start your actual Brotherhood. I think it allowed for like the use of different weapons, because I'm pretty sure in 1 and 2, it's been a while, but I'm pretty sure in 1 and 2 you couldn't actually use other weapons other than like the standard sword and hidden blades unless you picked it up, but you couldn't like, you know, sheath it and like keep it with you forever. But yeah, there's a few like quality of life changes in Brotherhood that I think makes it stand above Assassin's Creed 2. Now we move on to the next year, and starting off 2011 is Portal 2, which I'm gonna be honest with you, I could have sworn Portal 2 came out before God of War 3, but apparently God of War 3 came out before Portal 2, and if I'm wrong on that, go ahead and yell at me in the comments or whatever, but I googled it, I was on, I know Wikipedia isn't like the most reliable source of information, but I feel like on things that are published and stuff, it's okay. Anyway, Portal 2 is a great ending for the Portal series, because we all know Valve can't count to 3. It was one of the very first games that had crossplay. I remember you could play on console and then have someone on computer and like pretty much play together, which was wild to me at the time. It also is a very enjoyable puzzle game. Can't really say that about most things now. I don't remember the last puzzle game I played that was like recent, but yeah, this one still holds up for amazing games, and like the co-op is such a fun experience with another friend. I actually started doing a co-op run with one of my friends on Twitch, the Waltiverse. We didn't end up finishing it, but we did start one, and that was a fun time. I did enjoy that. The next game on this list is actually going to be a game I wouldn't have played until, I think it was 2019. It may have been 2018. Dark Souls 1. Whenever that got remastered is the first time I played it. I remember owning a PS3, not knowing what to play, looking up games I should try, and then seeing Dark Souls, and then the first like thing everyone said was like, this game is not for like casuals. It's very hard. And I remember thinking at the time, man, I get really fucking angry. I'm not gonna buy a game that's gonna be really hard because I'm gonna lose all my controllers by breaking them. So I didn't fuck around with it at the time, but I eventually got into it and I beat it twice, I think. I don't know. I don't really like Souls games though, if I'm being honest with you. But yeah, I did beat it twice. And yeah, they're not that hard as people make them out to be. The next game on this list is going to be Batman Arkham City. It's on this list and starting on this list because Arkham Asylum is actually from 2009, so it just missed the cut of being on this last 10 years of gaming. But yeah, Arkham City, it's great. It expanded on everything Arkham Asylum did, and that was well done, and it allowed you to play other characters as well. Made the map, like, I think it was like 4 times the size, because instead of the just Arkham Asylum, it became the entire part of that island, which was massive. And it had a good send-off, and like, personally, I think this is when the series should have ended. I'll get into that in a bit later when I start tearing apart Arkham Knight, but yeah, just know that's coming. Skyrim. You know it's wild? I still remember the day Skyrim came out because it came out on 11/11/11. I remember being with some friends. We went, and I'm gonna date myself here, but we were at Blockbuster and we rented it because everyone was like super hyped, and we were like, oh, let's check it out. We might as well. I remember the very first build we ever did was at my friend's house on his Xbox 360. They let me pick. I picked an Argonian, and then we were doing dual swords and magic. And then I remember my one friend didn't sleep all through the night, so then I would wake up in like random periods of time and just see him like in different areas. Like once I saw him scaling the Greybeard Mountain because he didn't want to walk up the normal path, and then the next time I saw him in the dungeon with Lydia fighting Draugr, and then the next time I saw him he was like doing some Daedra quest, and then like it was morning and he was like passed out. Like, dude, I was like, you need to fucking sleep. But yeah, this game's been re-released more than I can fucking count. It's been re-released for every fucking device imaginable. This is also my first platinum for PSN. And then I platinumed it on my secondary PSN. Don't ask me why I have 2, but I actually have 4. Don't ask why. But yeah, this is the first one I'd platinumed on 2 different accounts, and then I got the platinum again on PS4, and then I bought it on PC, and then immediately started modding it, so I couldn't 100% it, but I didn't want to go through the effort to 100% it, so here we are. Now, this next game is going to be one of those games that came out this year, but I didn't start playing until semi-recently. By semi-recently, I mean last year. Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3. So this game means a lot to me just because me and some friends I met via Twitch were all just like, hey, let's all get into fighting games together. So we just like, we bought all these different fighting games that, keep in mind, we're all from different fighting game backgrounds, and we would just meet in like these games that nobody else knew, and then just, you know, played them just to have fun. I streamed a couple of them actually. I think the VODs are still up. I think I highlighted those. But yeah, we've done Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3, we've done Injustice, we've done Soul Calibur, we've done Guilty Gear, we've done... Well, I don't think I participated in Tekken, but they've done Tekken. But yeah, it's a fun time. It doesn't matter if you know what you're doing or not. As long as you learn something, as long as you know what you're somewhat doing, it's fine. But yeah, it's a fun time with all the people I met on Twitch. But yeah, anyway, we're starting off 2012 with Transformer Fall of Cybertron, which is a continuation from War of Cybertron. And again, it's just one of those like great nostalgia things that like wasn't just a cash grab. I know so many things that are nostalgia based and it's just a cash grab, and then like everyone's just like, man, that sucked ass. But these were like decent games. You can try to argue with me, but they were decent. Like this felt like a Transformer game. They were the new ones that were based off the Michael Bay movies that were like okay, but like they were really really fucking boring. They were really bad too. Kind of like those movies, but I thought those movies were fine. I thought they were entertaining, which is all that matters. Despite the explosions for no reason. But anyway, this had the Dinobots, this had Grimlock, this had you play Starscream, Megatron, Optimus. They had the different things of like the decision making, kind of like Web of Shadows, where you choose the evil path or the good path. I thought it was fun. If I could get these games again on PC, I would have, but I don't know what happened. There was something wrong with High Moon Studios, and I think it was like EA or something that they had like a debate over, and they pulled these off the market. So that's a big fat rip. Alright, so the next one is a series I've mentioned before, Assassin's Creed 3. This isn't actually a game I enjoyed per se. I thought this game was a step back from Brotherhood and Revelations just because it felt weird pacing wise. The pacing of this game was really off. I don't know what they were trying to do with it, but it just didn't feel as smooth and fun as the previous games. And this is one of those occasions where like I think they kind of fucked up, but then they realized they fucked up, and the next iteration, which I'll talk about in next year, will console that. Where a series title like Assassin's Creed held a weight with people that were like, oh, these are fun games and stuff, and then they bought this, and then they were kind of like had a bad taste in their mouth afterward. At least that's what happened to me. I'm not speaking for everybody here, but personally for me, that's what happened. So yeah, like I did own the game, I did play it, I did beat it, but it just felt all over the place, and I didn't really enjoy it as much as Brotherhood or Revelations. This next game, though, is a game I enjoyed a lot. And a game I actually got peer pressured into getting into. So I was never much of a shooter person, like I was never much of a first-person shooter guy. And then my friends in high school were like, hey, just like, you got a PS3, right? Just buy COD, get it, play with us. And I was like, fuck it, sure, why not? I got Call of Duty Black Ops 2, which in my opinion is the best Black Ops, or not best Black Ops, best COD they've ever done. And some people will argue Modern Warfare 2 is, but no, Modern Warfare 2 felt too bare bone to be what's called like the best. It's a good start, but it was nowhere near the best. Black Ops 2 is the best. You can argue, but the facts are there. Black Ops 2 had the best diamond camo looking skins, had the best additional purchasable skins, had the best zombie experience. I don't care what any of you say, Transit was fun. The first time you played Transit, you were like, holy fuck, this is cool. Had the best maps, hence why they're redoing half of these maps for Cold War currently. Had all the party game modes, had all the different modes. And yeah, they didn't have anything that was like stupidly broken or anything. It was actually low-key balanced. Which in this game, or in like further cons, that was harder to come by. But yeah, the campaign was also amazing. I thought that was great. And it was the perfect balance between futuristic and not futuristic. There were like weapons that were somewhat futuristic, but there were also weapons that were, they weren't like super too futuristic that like you couldn't conceive that they would work. The next game in the series is actually a game I only played for about half an hour, but I know a lot of other people love. It's Far Cry 3. And what I will say about this is that I think I would have enjoyed this game more if it had not been compared to a bunch of other things I liked and people were telling me that I'd enjoy this. Because the one comparison I kept hearing was this game is basically Skyrim with guns, or this game is basically Assassin's Creed but fun. And then, like, to me, I enjoyed Assassin's Creed. Like, I'm not one of those people who, like, disliked one of them and immediately was like, they all fucking suck. I enjoyed them all, obviously, because I've played 1 through Odyssey. I've not played Valhalla because that's where I draw the line. I think I'm done. I liked Odyssey way too much to the point where I don't think I could top anything else with Odyssey. But yeah, Far Cry 3, I think I would enjoy it if people didn't ruin that for me. With constant comparisons and reassuring me that I'd enjoy the game. Now we have games that came out in 2013. The first one on here is actually a game I don't think is a bad game, but it's bad for the handle it has. And that game is Devil May Cry, or DMC, the Ninja Theory one. So that's capital D, lowercase m, and capital C. If this game had not been a Devil May Cry game, I think it would have done phenomenal. But because it was trying to do a soft reboot of a franchise that had so many fans before it, it really had to excel or else it wouldn't live up to a lot of people's expectations. Because the combat in this game is amazing. But I think they went too over the top with everything. Not to say that regular DMC isn't super over the top, but it's edgy in its own way, but it's got its own charm. This one just felt too edgy for no reason. But yeah, I think they're supposed to do another one of these, but I'm not sure. Hopefully they can improve on that. Also, my favorite character got ruined in the Ninja Theory Devil May Cry, so that's also why I don't like it. But besides that, yeah, everything else I said is what I believe. The next game on this is the Tomb Raider reboot. I thought this was an amazing game. I've never played a Tomb Raider game before, and then this one came out, and I was like, fuck it, let's try it. And I was like, oh, this is kind of like Uncharted from like what I've seen. And it was pretty much. It was like Indiana Jones, Uncharted, and you got to use a bow and arrow, which I'm a fan of. I own 2 actual bows. I own a Oneida Phoenix compound bow, and then I own a Martin Jaguar takedown recurve bow. But yeah, this was fun. This was a fun RPG. I think it's the RPG, right? Yeah, because you're role-playing somebody who raids tombs. So I assume that fits. But yeah, the story was great. I thought it was a great start for the Tomb Raider reboot. And yeah, as someone who's never played them, I liked how it wasn't super reliant on guns, but you could also use the bow and arrow and still be decent. I think that's why I liked it. Because I'm not like a huge fan of using guns in games that aren't necessarily shooter games. So when you kind of force guns on people in games that aren't shooter games, it's like, to me, I'm just like, why? So this next game, it's definitely, first it was a mobile game, and then it became an actual game. It's NetherRealm Studios, Injustice Gods Among Us. I actually played the mobile game religiously throughout, I don't know, the rest of my high school and like first couple of years of college. I got really good at it too, because I was number 4 in the world ever for the online and the mobile version. I'll re-download it on my phone and like put a screenshot up on the video right now showing you that I peaked at number 4 in the world. But yeah, and then of course the Injustice actual game. I remember being really concerned about it too, because I was like, I'm not a huge fighting game person. But then my friend from high school was like, no, it's really fun. And then they were like, the story is pretty good. And I was like, oh, okay. And I was like, yeah. And the story was actually really good. There was a whole backstory of comics too that I actually really enjoyed. So yeah. This next game is a game I actually have not played, but I've seen multiple playthroughs of, and I know it's a game that a lot of people like. So the next game is actually The Last of Us, and if you know anything about me, you'll know I don't like The Last of Us. And here's why. If a game feels more like a movie and the gaming is secondary, I feel like it's a bad game. If this had just been a movie instead, I would have had no problems with it, but because it pretended and tried to be a game when it really should have just been a movie, is why I'm not super interested. And like why I didn't really care for it. That, and because everybody and their fucking mother is like brainwashed into thinking this is the best game ever. I'm like, it's really not a game. It's more of a movie. You've heard me and Rory say on our other videos that like just because something is more like a movie doesn't make it better. And I totally agree with that. They went the direction of let's make this super cinematic and like let's make it like a movie. It's like I don't think they need to do that. I think if it was more intriguing combat and gameplay, it would have been fine. But because they went the route of let's make it like a movie, that's why I proceeded to not care for it. Also, they have hella stands, that game. That game is literally like, if you say one bad thing about it, everyone's just like, oh, you have shit opinions, you can't be trusted. It's like, alright, shut the fuck up. Like, no one asked. Alright. The next game on this list is, again, a returning franchise. Assassin's Creed Black Flag, aka Pirate Simulator. This was probably one of the most fun Assassin's Creed games there was. I'd argue first or second most fun. I almost said funnest, but that's not a word. First or second most fun to me. Out of the like, I think they've been coming out since 2008, so out of the almost 14 years, that's saying a lot. Yeah, it's basically just like run around, you're a pirate. And yeah, it's just you get to sail off ship, you get to do pirate shit, you drink rum, hang out with Blackbeard. It's dope. This next game is also a returning title. Or a series, I guess. That's Call of Duty Ghosts. Now, I don't know if this is an unpopular opinion, but this is my opinion. I think Ghost was actually much better than people gave it credit for. I actually really enjoyed Ghost. Ghost had a lot that they brought to the table that was decent, and I think people just like didn't like it. I really enjoyed the Extinction mode because it was a good take on zombies and or the version of like zombies or survival from the Treyarch and Modern Warfare games respectively. And the attachments made sense. And Call of Duty Ghost, I think that's the only game I know of in Call of Duty history that if you were using a shotgun, you could actually put an attachment on it to switch it from buck to slug shots, which is a feature that I feel like more shooter games need to have because they completely ignore the fact that shotguns can actually use two different types of bullets. But yeah, I thought the story was cool too. Like I didn't have any complaints about it. The next game, or the final game of this era, is Need for Speed Rivals. And it's been quite some time since I've played, any racing game. I think the last one before I played Rivals was Burnout Revenge on PS2, and I think that came out in 2005, 2006. But I love the shit out of that game. And I know this is a Need for Speed game, so it's not the same as Burnout, but I thoroughly enjoyed it. I thought it looked amazing when I played it, and I actually only played this because I knew a friend who had this game. So we played it together. This was one of the first games on my PS4 I actually played with some actual friends instead of just like randomly playing it myself. Starting off in 2014 is Hearthstone. So interestingly enough, I was not in the beta for Hearthstone, but I picked it up, I want to say, not in 2014, but in 2015. Yeah, in 2015 is when I picked it up. And I enjoyed it at first. I thought it was a little RNG dependent, which I'm not a huge fan of. Like I'm okay with RNG in certain aspects, but like don't make it just like YOLO RNG. When I started playing, when they switched to like I started playing right before they switched to the system they had before the one they have right now. That may have been confusing for anybody who's listening, but it used to just be ranked or not ranked, and then they made it like standard and then wild, and then now it's like standard, wild, and then the tiers aren't the same. Now you have like bronze, silver, gold, diamond, whatever. Before it used to be just like you had to get from 25 to legend. I played during the 25 to legend right when they switched from standard to wild. They introduced some card that was like, I forget what it was called. I think it was like Kassoon or whatever. I thought that card was fucking stupid. It was basically just like yellow RNG energy, and then like pray to God you get the better RNG, and that was it. Also, the fact that they claimed it's a free-to-play game, it was kind of like horseshit. Like, it is free-to-play, but if you go into ranked and try to do free-to-play only, you're gonna get fucking destroyed. Because you need to be buying all the expansions. Like, when I started, it was around Kaznia or whatever, the, like, expansion with all the silverware and shit. The Beauty and the Beast stuff, where, like, you could summon forks and, like, plates and whatever. In that era, if you didn't have Emperor Thulum or whatever that like reduced every card cost by 1, you were like pretty much fucked. If you didn't have Reno Jackson or a way to answer to Reno Jackson, you were pretty much fucked. If you didn't have Blackwing or whatever, you were pretty much fucked. If you didn't have half of these cards from these paid expansions, you were pretty much fucked. Like, you could still do it, don't get me wrong, but like it was just a lot. You needed all the stars in the solar system to align to your like RNG in order to win. And whenever I played in Hearthstone, it was always like there was a current meta, and like if you tried to play off meta, you just couldn't. It was just impossible. The next game in the 2014 category is Destiny, actually. So fun fact, when I bought my first ever launch PS4, it was a Destiny PS4, and all it was basically instead of black, it was white. Destiny was a game we got into just because I knew it was by Bungie, and I know those people who did Halo, and I was pretty much just like, hey, this is pretty much just gonna be Halo on PS4, right? I was fucking wrong. Destiny was also an RNG loot fest simulator. The first one I thought was better than the second one, which I'll talk about later, but I don't know. It was fun with friends, but it was way too RNG heavy. The raids were fun, like Vault of Glass I thought was really enjoyable. I only ever did Crota's End twice. Vault of Glass was probably my favorite of the 3 I've seen, because I saw The Taken King as well. But the amount of times I did Vault of Glass and like never saw the Icebreaker or the Gallarhorn or whatever the fuck it's pronounced was really fucking stupid. I think I only ever got like 2 epic weapons from that game, and I had a lot of time in that game. I almost platinumed that game. I would have, but I just didn't feel like it. But yeah, it was fun for like, I don't know, 10 minutes. I also didn't like how they were trying to make the model like a subscription model, pretty much, where it's like if you don't have the current expansion, you couldn't really play the game. You had to like constantly buy it. It's like it should be just you can do all the expansion or all the content up to the expansion you own, and then that's it. But in this, it was like if you didn't have the current expansion, you were just fucked. Like you could do like one thing, and that was it. The next game is Shadow of Mordor, which I thought was like a cute attempt at, you know, doing a Batman game mixed with like Assassin's Creed elements. And it was Lord of the Rings. So, you know, how could you go wrong? It's Yeah, I mean, it's summed up in those like two sentences. If you enjoy Batman, the Arkham games, and Assassin's Creed, you'll enjoy Shadow of Mordor. And if you like Lord of the Rings, fuck it, this game's for you. The only thing I could say about this game was I thought the ending was super fucking disappointing. The boss was really fucking easy. And I think the Nemesis system was probably the best thing about this game. So yeah, that's all for that. The next game is Advanced Warfare, and that's Call of Duty. So once again, I have another Call of Duty game on this. And this was around the time where I was kind of just buying Call of Duties just to buy them because I still had friends who played them. But like I wasn't like super enjoying them. Like I just played them just because I had friends who played them. And this was the first one that was like in the future and was like jetpacks. So this was on the ride of like when everyone stopped playing, kind of, just because they were constantly doing jetpack bullshit. But yeah, it was enjoyable. The story was okay. It had Kevin Spacey. That didn't really age well. And yeah, that's all I'm going to touch about that. The next two games are actually Assassin's Creed Rogue and Unity. I enjoyed one of these games. Unity was okay. It had a lot of problems technically. It just didn't fucking work. I don't know why. I think even now it's like still having problems. But yeah, I never actually finished Unity. I got to like if there's 16 chapters, I got to like 14 or something. And then Rogue, I just thought was interesting because I was like, yo, it's cool. They finally had someone who defected and became, a Templar instead of following the assassin motives. And it was a nice tie-in because at the end of Rogue, you kill, I forget his name. The guy who gets called Pisspot. You kill his father. Dorian. Yeah. So this next game might be, something that like a lot of you might be confused on why it's on here. And since I'm like a grown ass man, why am I playing these games? Lego Batman 3 Beyond Gotham. I've always been a fan of Lego games. I've been since I was a kid. And yeah, they're just mindless fun. They're like cool to play and they're enjoyable, honestly. I don't have anything against them. I think this was like the second or like third platinum I got on PS4 too. Because the Lego games are super easy to plat. If you ever want a free Lego game, or a free platinum, just platinum a Lego game. It's super easy. I've always loved the story of the different lanterns, like the Green Lantern, Violet Lantern, Yellow Lanterns, Orange, Red, White, Black. So anything with that I thought was cool. And I'm pretty sure I bought all the DLC for that game too. They had a lot of DLC. They had Arrow DLC from the show. They had Suicide Squad. They had I think they had one for New Genesis and stuff. But yeah, I think there was like 20 different DLC packs, and I owned all of them. This next game is going to be a game I wouldn't have played until, I think, 2017? 2018? One of those years. Dragon Age Inquisition. Now, I know a lot of people didn't like Inquisition, but given it was my first Dragon Age, I actually really enjoyed it. I was completely lost in the story just because I've never played the first one or the second one. But I really enjoyed the color palette, which is really minor, but it makes a difference. The color palette of Inquisition was amazing. It was vibrant and stuff. It wasn't using like what every other fucking game was using, aka the COD color palette, which was like all nitty and gritty and like gray and dull and stuff. This one was like actually bright and had like essence everywhere. So I thought it was cool. And this was my first like kind of like tactical game because you could do the top down view and like instruct your units to do different things and such. I never used that mode, but I thought it was cool. So for 2015, we got kicking off Dying Light. Now, I'm not like a person for horror games, right? Because one, I don't ever find them horror inducing. I studied movies and stuff, so everything I can tell. I can see the blind coming, I can see the double blind coming, I can see jump cuts, whatever. And horror doesn't really do anything for me. I'm not really a scared person. But this game was fun as fuck. I actually played this game on a stream with one of my friends. It wasn't during 2015, it was like much later. It was like, I think it was like a year later. And this game has like a cult following because there are always people who just jump into your world and like give you OP endgame shit. It's probably one of the more friendly communities I've seen from a game. And they also just announced the second one, which I thought was put on indefinite hold. And it's not, so I mean, that's cool. The only thing about this game was that the ending I thought was kind of lame. It was way too easy. Not that this game should have been like, difficult, but like they should have given us something better than that ending. This next game is a game I thoroughly enjoyed. I still play to this day, and I have over probably 3,000 hours in it. That is Bloodborne. This is also the first From Software game I've ever played. I know Dark Souls 1 was on the list, but like I said then, I played that game when the remaster came out, and that was way after I played Bloodborne. But yeah, Bloodborne was probably my favorite game in the past 10 years. So everything on this list doesn't come close to Bloodborne. I platinumed this game, I got 100%. I've run countless people through this game. I've done challenge runs, I've done a HUD challenge run, I've done 2 different Blood Level 4 runs, one with the cane, one with the Saw Cleaver. I've tried to speedrun this game. I've pretty much done it all. And for some reason, people love to argue with me about this game. And I'm like, I have 3,000 hours in this game. Like, you don't need to argue with me. But that's something that keeps happening. And I'm just like, alright, whatever. It's my favorite game, but whatever. Don't worry about it. This next game is Mortal Kombat X. And that's another NetherRealm Studio game. They're the people who did Injustice. They're actually more known for Mortal Kombat, so... But yeah. I don't know why I got this game. I didn't really have anybody to play this with, to be honest with you. I think I just got it just because I thought Mortal Kombat characters were cool and whatever. I did do the story. I thought it was fun. I had played all the characters, actually, because I did all the trophies you could potentially do. I did the Test Your Might, I did the towers, I did the story. I think the only thing I didn't do was online. I think I did online twice. But yeah. Usually I just fought against bots, which I think is why I'm bad at fighting games now, because I trained myself too much against bots that weren't doing a whole lot. But yeah, overall I thought it was fun. I thought it was decent. It's Mortal Kombat. It's over the top. Fatalities are cool. Whatever. This next game is a lot of people's favorite and usually the only one of the series they've played, including me. The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt. I have mixed feelings about this game. I did enjoy it because I did play it twice with DLC. Or no, I think the first time I played it, I did it without DLC, and then the second time I played it was with DLC. I think my feelings with this game reside more with because the series came out and everybody I knew on Twitch started playing it at once. So there was a time period where all I saw was The Witcher. Which led to a strong dislike of seeing The Witcher. Which, to be fair, is unfair to the game because it didn't do anything wrong. I still enjoyed the game. Gwent was wild because there's like a Gwent quest or whatever, and I won every single game of Gwent I played in that game, and I played like 18 without knowing how to play Gwent. I think the only one I lost was like the second to last one in the Gwent tournament. But yeah, this game is a game that you need to like sink a lot of time into, or else you won't get a whole lot out of it, because there's a lot to do, especially with DLC. This next game is a series I've talked about in previous years, Lego Jurassic World. If you know me, I'm a super big fan of dinosaurs. Jurassic Park 3 was my favorite movie for a long time as a kid. When I was younger, I wanted to be a paleontologist. I love dinosaurs. And yeah, I'm not a huge fan of the World series of Jurassic Park, or Jurassic, but Park I'm fine with. And yeah, in this one you can create your own dinosaur as a Lego thing. So why the fuck wouldn't you play this? I'm pretty sure I had one that was... It was like a T-Rex base, and then I added some like spiked shit on it, and then like I just weirded it out to the max, and then I made it red with like black stars and white stripes and shit, and that was my design. Just the craziest shit you could ever seen. Alright, this next game is a game series that I've actually talked about on the other channel I have, First Streamers Become Human, with Rory a lot. This is DMC4 Special Edition. Now, the reason this is here instead of the original one is because the original one came out as almost a launch title for PS3, which wouldn't have made the cut. But that's not the one I played. I've only ever played DMC4 Special Edition, and there's a reason for that. That's because my favorite character, Virgil, is only playable in the Special Editions. So it works out perfectly. I bought this for PS4 and for PC. And yeah, bringing back Virgil, they gave him a concentration gauge, they didn't really give him a story, but like they gave him his own like cutscene in the beginning. And he was playing really fun. Okay, so this next game is a game that got carried by its handle, and that is Batman Arkham Knight. As you know, I said I was a fan of the Arkham series. City and Asylum were great. Knight, not so much. Knight was probably the worst Arkham game I've ever played. It was too forcing the Batmobile. I always joke and say that it's more like Batmobile Arkham Knight because they made you use the Batmobile every 2 fucking seconds. You know it's bad when... Well, I'm not gonna... I guess it's not a spoiler because this game's been out for fucking 6 years. There's a part in the game where the Batmobile gets destroyed. I was happy that happened. I should not be happy about something getting destroyed unless you force it upon me multiple times. In this game, if they had just taken the extra effort to have 2 decision paths, you either use the Batmobile, or you use Batman to do the task, it would have been fine. But because they literally just made you use the Batmobile every single waking moment to do every puzzle and everything else, it was so annoying. But yeah, I mean, I can't be that mad. This is actually how I discovered Twitch. And this is how I found one of my good friends on Twitch, Spinachy, or Ash. I'll throw a picture of me and her up on screen or something right now. But yeah, I guess that was the only good thing to take out of this game. Because I remember I went all in on this game. I bought the game, and then I went and picked it up. They're like, oh, do you want to get the season pass? You get all this DLC. And I was like, sure, why not? DLC, each episode of DLC was like 5 fucking minutes. And then they had the Batgirl one that was 10 minutes. And I was like, oh, okay, alright. What a waste of my fucking money. This next game is something that is near and dear to my childhood. Yu-Gi-Oh! Legacy of the Duelist. I did a whole. I don't want to say playthrough, but I basically taught Rory how to play Yu-Gi-Oh! And put it up on the other channel. So yeah, I thought that was fun. We had a good time. The next game is going to be Lego Dimensions. And I didn't actually play this game, but I thought the concept of this game was cool as fuck. So if you don't know what Lego Dimensions is, it's a Lego game, right? But you get actual physical Legos and like in person. You build them and put them on this device that registered them, and then they showed up in game. And I thought that was the coolest concept for a game ever, because all the DLC things that you buy would literally come with packs of Legos that you could build and, you know, do whatever with. And I was like, that's so much more value for your money than just buying data to download, because it gives you Legos to play with. It doesn't matter how old you are. You can use Legos for anything. Alright, this next game is Assassin's Creed Syndicate. This is when they started transitioning into like the new age Assassin's Creed. It wasn't quite as new as, you know, Origins. Like it wasn't that drastic of a change, but it was like getting there. I like this game. I thought it was cool. I know a lot of people either didn't play this game or like they stopped playing Assassin's Creed entirely at this point, but if you did stick through it and play them all, they're actually all really fun. Like, I like this one because you had two different playstyles. You had Jacob, I think that was his name, Jacob, who was like the brother, who was like a brawler, and he was in charge of like the noisy tactics. And you had, I think, Eve, who was the sister, and she was like the stealthier one, and like did the pickpocketing and like lock picking and stuff like that. I like the brother-sister dynamic. I thought that was cool. So, returning again on this list is Call of Duty Black Ops 3. This is the point where, after this game, I stopped buying every single COD, and I was only going to buy the ones done by Treyarch. Because I recognized that the only ones I enjoyed were the ones by Treyarch. So that's what happened. And to be fair, this isn't a bad game. It's just much more arcadey than other Call of Duties. This one was set in the very future, so it wasn't like Black Ops 2 where it was like some stuff could be real and some stuff couldn't. This one was basically everything couldn't be real. It was like you could run on walls, you could fucking jetpack, you could shoot people like electricity, you do whatever, and you had like operators in this, so you could like be a robot that turned his arm into a machine gun, or, you know, cloaked yourself and used invisibility. So it was a lot of like wild shit going on. The next game is actually another game that got carried by its title, and that's Star Wars Battlefront, the 2015 edition. Not the classic one, not the good one that came out on like PS2, but the one that came out on PS4, the one that was literally the reason I got an A+ on a paper. I think that's the only reason I put this on here, because I wanted to say I got a paper 100% on it because of this game. This was the one that EA literally said, hey, it doesn't matter if you buy 1,000 loot boxes. If you don't get anything good, you just have to buy more, smile. But yeah, this is what ruined Battlefront's name. This is not my Battlefront, by the way. The one from like 2003 is my Battlefront. Fuck the new one. But yeah, this is when EA became EA and did more EA things. The last game for this year is actually going to be Rainbow Six Siege. Now, this is the first Rainbow Six game I've ever played. It was operator based. I played it a lot on PS4 with Spinachy and, you know, some other people. I still own it. I don't play it anymore just because I don't like it anymore. But yeah, I thought it was fun at first, but now that I know it's just holding angles and toxicity, I'm just like, I'd be happy to not play this ever again. So earlier, I think 2011, I was talking about Portal 2 and how it was a great puzzle game and how there haven't been really that many puzzle games. The Witness is actually a really great example of well done puzzle games. I love The Witness. The Witness was fun. Every puzzle I did in The Witness was enjoyable. I never did get the platinum in The Witness, but that's because I felt nauseous every time I went into like the tower or the volcano or whatever. I forget the end area. After you do everything, you go into like that like center area, and then you have to figure out some random puzzles. But yeah, I thought that was a really good job, and I thought the color palette was really cool. It was nice, vibrant. It kind of reminded me of Firewatch, like the graphics. The next one in 2016 is Rise of Tomb Raider. I thought Rise of Tomb Raider was great. Quick note, before any of you like come at me and are like, Rise of Tomb Raider didn't come out in 2016. I put it here because that's when I played it. It was year exclusive on Xbox, and then it came to PS4. So that's why I put it here in 2016 instead of 2015. Alright, now that we've gotten that out of the way. I enjoyed this one. I know some people thought it was a step down from the original one, but I thought it was nice. I thought it was cool. I liked how you could get even more in depth with the bows. Like, I remember getting a recurve and being really excited, and then it upgraded to a compound, and I was like, holy shit, this is cool. I was really critiquing the realism of archery, though, if I'm being honest. And fun fact, this is actually the game I got affiliate on for Twitch. And this was when I was still streaming on direct from PS4, so that's funny. I got affiliate via that, which shows you how easy it is to get affiliate. Like, I'm not saying that people who get affiliate now, like, don't deserve it, but it's not that hard to get affiliate. I think people over-exaggerate how much, like, affiliate means. At first, anyway. But yeah, that's a whole different topic. But yeah, I thought the first two Tomb Raiders were fairly solid. This next game is gonna also be a nostalgia trip. It's Digimon Cyber Sleuth. The last Digimon game I played was probably Digimon World on PS1. So when I found out there was another Digimon game, I was like, holy fuck, let's do this. Got it. Loved it. Okay, now keep in mind I didn't play this in 2016. I actually played it on Steam, so I had to wait until I think it was like 2018 when it came out on Steam. But anyway, I played it, and I'm putting it here because this is when it originally came out, so now that we have that out of the way. It's pretty much Digimon Persona, which I thought was fun. Except I got really sweaty in this game because I was trying to min-max to the extreme. I'm pretty sure I have like every Digimon unlocked, like your Digimon decks or whatever, except for like a handful. I could go back and do all of those, but I don't know. I haven't played this game since I beat the expansion for it. I'd love to replay this again. I'd love to go through it, but I was always like really lost when playing this game. I think it's because there's so much dialogue that I always got sidetracked by dialogue, and then I couldn't remember what I was supposed to be doing. So this next game is actually a game that I don't think I would have ever played unless my friends had hit me up and were like, hey, do you want to play this game? You should get it. It's like dirt cheap on PSN. And that game is The Division. I played this with Rory and Tiff and our other friend Beast on PS4. It's a fun game. I don't think I would have played this if they had not told me it was dirt cheap and they were getting it and I should play with them. But yeah, I thought it was fun. We had fun. I thought it was incredibly hard for whatever reason. I don't know why they thought the Division needed to be that hard, but you know, kudos. The train level, in the beginning of the game, there's like the train level that you have to go through, and like we just kept dying. And then it got to the point where I think me and Rory just took turns and killed off people, and it took us like 20 minutes to do it. I was like, that shouldn't have been that hard. But yeah, anyway, it's a fun game if you have friends. This next game, Dark Souls 3, it's the second FromSoft I've played. And quick note, I'm actually not a Dark Souls fan. The only reason I got this game was because it was done in the Bloodborne engine, and it was a faster paced Souls game, so it felt more like Bloodborne. But even then, I feel like I wasn't a fan. Like, this is my favorite Dark Souls out of the three, but that's not saying a whole lot, because I don't enjoy this series, and everyone just assumes I do. Like, I've played it, I think I've beaten Dark Souls 3 maybe 3 times. I ran 2 different people through it, and then I beat it on my own. But yeah, I don't know. They're fun, but like, I prefer like Bloodborne's aesthetic. This next game is another game that got carried by its nostalgia trip and handle. That's the Ratchet and Clank reboot for 2016. It's supposed to be a soft reboot of the very first one on PS2, but I thought, I thought they could have done better. I would have just preferred them to do a completely new iteration other than redo an older one. But that's just me. I don't remember anything about this game. I beat this game and I don't remember anything about it. That's how much I cared for it. I don't remember the weapons. I don't remember gameplay. I remember it's the same, like, strafe and jump and shoot, but usually there's like cool shit you remember from Ratchet and Clank, like Up Your Arsenal. I remember everything about that game, and I had not played that game since it came out on PS2 in, I don't know, 2006. This one I played more recent, and I have no idea what the fuck happened in this game. This next game is a game I actually didn't start playing until I got a PC, and that was 2019, I think, in like May-ish. Overwatch. Overwatch has a special place in my heart because Overwatch is actually how I made a bunch of friends via Twitch and just like gaming. And how I got to know a lot of these people. We'd be up really late. Well, not late for me, but late for them, because one of them was in their own time zone. It was not East Coast, but it's like an hour and a half further than East Coast. And then everyone else I knew was on East Coast. So it'd be like 11 for me, and it'd be like 2 a.m. for them, or 3 a.m. for him. And it was fun, honestly. I played Overwatch a lot. I'm actually still playing it to this day. I know a lot of people stopped, and I know a lot of other people who like shit talk this game, but I don't know, to me it's fun. Like, I may have my gripes with certain things, but at the end of the day I still enjoy and have fun in this game, even though it's super starved for content, and there are certain things that I think they should change, but let's not get into all of that. Overall, I think it's a fun game. It's really what started Streamers Become Human, to be honest with you, that and Monster Hunter. So without, us getting on Overwatch and playing, you wouldn't have had all that content on Streamers Become Human. Anyway, this next game is actually not a game. It's more of a mobile game. It's Pokemon Go. It was huge when it first came out. It's the only time I left my fucking house during that year, to be honest with you. Like, openly, I'd go out and just like walk everywhere. It was revolutionary. It was fun. I still kind of play it. I haven't played it recently, but yeah. If you know about Pokemon Go, then you know. I know so many people who started playing it too. Like, my uncle started playing it, and I was like, do you even know what Pokemon is? He's like, no, I just play it to just do it. And I was like, alright, that's cool. The last one to kick us off in 2016 is Final Fantasy 15. Granted, I didn't play this in 2016, but I did play it. So that's why it's on here in 2016 as opposed to whenever the fuck I played it. We're going based on year. I played the Royal Edition too, by the way. This game. I think that site explains it all. I was never super into Final Fantasy. Like, the first one I ever played was 15, if I'm being honest with you. The first one I ever played was 15, and then I played 7 Remake, and then I played 14. That's the order of Final Fantasies I've played. 15, I thought was super fun. Combat alone. Story-wise, wasn't there. They really fucked up. I hope 16 is better, but you know. I'm not gonna shit too much on 15, but yeah. If you played it, you understand. Kicking off 2017 is Nioh. Nioh was fun for me. I actually enjoy it more than Dark Souls, to be honest with you. And I think just because of the variety in Nioh. You can use magic, mudra, ninjutsu, and any weapon you pick up you can use pretty much right off the bat. I like the Oni and yokai elements to it. I like the spirit animals. I thought it was fun. I thought it was way more enjoyable than Dark Souls 1 and 2 and 3. This next game is something I should have enjoyed, but did not. That game being Horizon Zero Dawn. On paper, something I should have really enjoyed, but I just couldn't get into, to be honest with you. I thought it was too boring. I never finished it, but like I got far enough. I want to say like 15 hours in, and then I stopped playing. I was like, fuck this game. Oh, this game is dumb. But yeah. I know a lot of people enjoy it and like are looking forward to Forbidden West or whatever the fuck it's called, the new one that's coming out, but that's not a game I'm looking forward to. Persona 5. Alright, I know this game. I didn't play this game until, I don't know, like 2019, but it came out during 2017, so that's where it's at. I actually only played this because I got it for free. Somebody I know from Twitch owed me money, and they just got me Persona 5 instead. Which I was okay with, because I was like, fuck it. And I was like, it's kind of like Cyber Sleuth, I'll play it. And yeah, I skipped pretty much all the dialogue, and I watched most cutscenes. I thought it was okay. I thought it was fun to make different personas and see all the different creatures and, you know, whatever, what have you. I know there's a Royal version that has more content. I saw other people play through that, though. I don't think I could have played through it. I don't think this is a game I'd replay, but I'm glad I went through it once. The next game is Injustice 2. I'll just quickly cover this one. It's pretty much the same story as Injustice 1, for me anyway. It was just a fighting game I was used to. I thought it was cool. I wanted to see the story continue. The graphics look amazing. And yeah, I thought it was a good direction, the next step for like Injustice. I thought the gear system was kind of weird. I thought it was kind of RNG, but I liked the fact that you couldn't pay and like buy stuff and then just get ahead. It was all RNG. Well, I guess I liked it and disliked it. I got Staff of Grayson on PS4 and PC, so I mean, that's all I really wanted, so I mean, that's fine. But yeah, this is also a game I played with some friends who I met via Twitch. The next game is Lawbreakers. I don't know how many of you know what this game is actually, because this team and like studio went under, and like the guy who owned the studio actually like is apparently a huge jackass and like sold out and just cut everything for this game. It was supposed to be like the competitor to Overwatch, I'm pretty sure. And from what I played of it, it was fun, but I only played it for like a week. And then after that, I never got a chance to play it again because it went under. But yeah, not too much to go on about that, but yeah, from what I played, I enjoyed it. I thought it was pretty fun. I thought it was revolutionary. It could have had a huge potential, but it, the guy ended up being, I think his name's Scooter, but yeah, that guy ended up being a jackass. So this next game, Ark, is actually a game, again, I haven't played this year, but I played in I think it was 2019, 2020 maybe. I think a lot of time in this game, I loved building bases. I played a lot offline though, because I didn't want to have to pay for a server. I just loved building bases, collecting dinosaurs. Like I said earlier, I loved dinosaurs. I loved, creatures as well. So being able to force spawn, force tame, and do all this shit, I just ran wild. I played God in the offline mode. I just did whatever I wanted to until I was happy with it. I even started doing mutation strats and like got certain ones to breed and then try to get mutations so then like they'd be different colors and whatever, but I put a lot of time into it. Because it's basically dinosaurs. Like, if you add dinosaurs to anything, it's so much cooler. Alright, this next game, another game that got carried by its title and handle is Destiny 2. I bought Destiny 2 at launch, and then immediately regretted it. I burned myself out on it. I leveled my Hunter, which was my main in Destiny 1, and then I leveled my Warlock, which was my secondary. I never touched Titan. I hated Titan. And after I leveled my Warlock, I got really fucking bored and just burnt out, and I just couldn't do it, so I stopped. I also didn't like the changes, because they changed, I think it was like shotguns was now heavy instead of special. Scout rifles or whatever were specials instead of heavy, or instead of normal. I just didn't like a lot of the changes. I didn't like how they tried to bring it back and like they didn't cross save, so I was able to take my save from PS4 and put it on PC if I wanted to, but I think it was too late at that point and I didn't care anymore. This next game is a game that I tried to play co-op, but then realized it didn't have co-op online. It was couch co-op. That game was Cuphead. I was going to play this with Rory on the Streamers Become Human channel, and we couldn't do it. So I played it solo instead, and I got to like 4 bosses in, and I thought it was fine, but it was frustrating. I'm not a guy who enjoys like side scroller games or like indie games, because I think they're, I don't want to say lame, but I just don't enjoy them. They're not for me. I tried it with this one and I thought it was decent. I thought it was fun. The only thing is I wish they had online co-op. That was the whole point of me buying it. But yeah, I don't know if I'll ever go back and finish it, but yeah. I thought it was fun. It was a cute game too, it reminded me a lot of like early Mickey Mouse. The next game is Shadow of War, which is the following game from Shadow of Mordor. I thought this one was fun. I thought the Nemesis system they did in this, that was upgraded, and was really cool. It's probably my favorite thing about this game. I don't think I actually beat it, though. I think I did some side stuff, then got really confused at what I was supposed to be doing, and then just stopped playing. This game is huge, by the way, too. I think it's like 200 gigs or something. Or no, it might be 80, I don't remember. But yeah, I thought it was fun and fine from what I played. The next and final game of 2017 is Assassin's Creed Origins. You all saw this coming, or you should have. This is when they revolutionized Assassin's Creed. They changed it from the same cut and paste formula to more like an RPG, which many people will argue that they didn't like and that it killed the series because it's not Assassin's Creed anymore. But I think that's what the series needed, because without this, I think they would have ran into the same problem. People would have not bought their game, and they would have been losing money. They needed to switch it up. The first game to bring us into 2018 is Monster Hunter World, and that's a game I thoroughly enjoyed. Like I said before, I started my journey with Monster Hunter Tri from the Wii all the way back in 2010, I think, right? Yeah, 2010. Monster Hunter World is a game that brought a lot of people who never played Monster Hunter into Monster Hunter, and they enjoyed it. It was the very first time it was being released as a super well marketed game in the West, which was always the problem, because like if you didn't know what Monster Hunter was, it was probably just because you didn't hear about it. But they did a really good job marketing this game, and they got a lot of people into it. It's actually Capcom's #1 selling game currently. It beat out Devil May Cry, it beat out Resident Evil, it beat out Dragon's Dogma, and yeah. I spent a lot of time in this game. Originally on PS4, I think I have over 1,000 hours. I got the platinum around 400. I was one of the first people ever to get the platinum. I posted it on Reddit. Next game, God of War. I thought it was great. I thought it deserved Game of the Year. I know a lot of people were like, "Oh, Red Dead," and I was like, "Nah, God of War, bro." I thought it was a great soft reboot. I thought Santa Monica Studios did really well with it. I also got the platinum for this. It really showed Kratos as a dad and like dealing with being a father and combating his past and such. I thought they did really well with like the passing of the torch, if you will, because it wasn't always Santa Monica Studios who did God of War. At least I don't think. This next game, Jurassic World Evolution, is a game you might not think like I'd be into, given all the other games I've talked about recently, but dinosaurs, like Zoo Tycoon, it's fun. Honestly, I'm pretty sure in Zoo Tycoon, like back in the day, you could use dinosaurs as well. But I think this one's strictly dinosaurs, and that's what makes it cool. Plus, it's like fun. It's just like you get to play God pretty much. You just walk around, create creatures, and it's like they break out, they start killing people in the facility or the amusement park. It's like, oh, it doesn't matter, because you don't actually have to do anything. You don't get in trouble for it. You get fined, but like in real life, nothing's gonna happen to you. The next game is actually Monster Hunter Generations Ultimate. I did not play this game when it came out originally. I'm pretty sure I played it the middle of 2020, after the life cycle of Monster Hunter Generations Ultimate. I could be wrong with the release date here. It may not have been a 2018 game. I think it was 2018 for the Switch. I'm not sure. I'll double check. If it's wrong, I'll make a little annotation, and I'll change the year from 2018 to whatever the actual year is. But yeah, same thing. Monster Hunter. Why wouldn't I play it? It has some of the greatest fights in it. It brought back Legiacris. It's Generations Ultimate. It has pretty much every single fight from every single Monster Hunter before it into one. A lot of content. The next game is Spider-Man. It's PS4. I love this game. I also got the platinum for this. I got the platinum for this in like a day's time. Like 16 hours. Spider-Man is the most popular hero in America, and there's a reason for that. So it only makes sense to make the game, based on the most popular hero in America. I thought it was really fun. The web swinging was great, amazing. It didn't feel just like a Arkham series clone, which was good. It handled a lot of its like own story and, you know, Spider-Man-esque things that like you would see. He's an inventor, he's a scientist, he struggles like everyone else. Everything about Spider-Man at the core was there. This next game is a game that I've talked about before, Shadow of the Tomb Raider. I think this is another game that got carried by its title. I pre-ordered this game, I played this game for about an hour, and I've not played it since. I've seen this game played through twice. I don't know. This game just didn't do it for me like the other two iterations of the reboot Tomb Raider. I don't know what happened. I don't know why they went this route, but to me it wasn't as enjoying as, you know, the first two. I don't know what happened. I don't know if they just got lazy or whatever, but this is by far the weakest one of the trilogy. The next game is gonna be the last time I mention Assassin's Creed, and this is Odyssey. Odyssey was probably my favorite, maybe tied with Black Flag. I loved the Greek, mythos. I loved how you fought Medusa, you dealt with Minotaurs, you went and did all this stuff that you hear about. There were so many nods to the Greek mythology. There's like Perseus stuff, there's Artemis stuff, there's Hercules stuff. It's great. I think that's why I enjoyed it so much, was because I love Greek mythology, I love the culture, I love Assassin's Creed, so I was like, why not? I think the only thing I disliked was that they didn't have hidden blades, but I think they added those in like the DLC that I never finished. I platinumed Odyssey on PS4, then I got it on PC. I think I ran through it, beat it, and then I was working my way through the DLC and I just never finished it. But anyway, this next game I've mentioned before, Soul Calibur 6. It's a fun time. I like it because this really helped me make more friends on Twitch, and you know, we had fight nights every so often. Everyone was chill, we were cool. We got a lot of other people into fighting games who normally don't play fighting games. Yeah, I had not played a Soul Calibur since 3, so I skipped 4 or 5, and I actually never played 2, so I only played 3 and 6. But yeah, this last one is kind of cheating, because it's not like an original game that came out during this time, but it's the reunited trilogy for Spyro. This is a nostalgia thing. I didn't beat all of these. I beat the first one, and then I played some of the second one and some of the third one. I think the only reason I didn't finish the second and third was because I had controller problems, and like there was weird drift or dead zones that I couldn't fix. So I never ended up playing and finishing Ripto's Rage and Year of the Dragon, but I did enjoy those as kids. Or as a kid. But yeah, they did an amazing job with the remaster. Maybe I'll go back and play them. Who knows? The first game coming up in 2019 is a game that I feel got carried by its title. Again, I say that a lot because I feel like it's true. Kingdom Hearts 3. Boy, do you know how long I waited in between 2 and 3? A whole like 14 ass years. Now I understand there was more than just 1, 2, and 3, but I didn't know that at the time. I watched somebody else play through all of them, and I had no fucking idea what was happening. This is the most convoluted storyline I've ever seen, ever heard of, ever set eyes upon. For anyone who says it's simple and that you just have to pay attention, you can go fuck yourself. It's not simple. It's the most convoluted shit ever. And Kingdom Hearts 3 was way too easy. It felt way too easy. Like, graphically it looked nice, but like the difficulty just wasn't there. Not to say that they're supposed to be hard, but like OG Kingdom Hearts games were not the easiest game ever. So I just, expected it more to be that nature than kid difficulty. This next game is a game I personally waited for 10 years almost. I think it was 10 years actually. DMC5. Now, I know I said earlier that I only got the special editions, but because I was finally caught up and had a console that like had a DMC coming out on it, I had to get it. I'm such a huge fan. I love 1, 3, 4, and 5. Nobody likes 2, so don't worry about it. DMC5 is an amazing game. I loved it. It was a great send off. It was a great conclusion to the Sons of Sparta. I'm excited to see where they go with it next. That's all I'll really touch on that game. I don't want to talk too much about it. I have a whole other video dedicated to DMC5 on the Streamer Became Human channel if you want to check that out. But yeah. The next game is Division 2. And Division 2 is again a game that I wouldn't have played unless I played it with my friends. This time we switched it up because we got it on PC. Actually, no. We started on PS4 and then we switched to PC. And it was me, Rory, Morgan, and Tiff. Played it through on streams. It was fun. I liked the changes they made. It wasn't nearly as difficult as the first one. And they added like abilities and stuff, so I thought it was fun. And, you know, if they make a third one, hell, I'll play it too. I'll play it with them. Probably. This next game is actually a game that I was originally really excited for. I have the collector's edition for it. Sekiro: Shadows Die Twice. Now, I was really hyped for this game before it launched. It's okay. I enjoy it more than Dark Souls, but I don't know. It wasn't my favorite. Any game that forces you into a play style, I just have issues with. And like, yeah, you can play this game and not, you know, block and deflect and whatever, but it takes so much extra effort to do that. I actually got to the final boss in this game within like the first week of it coming out, then just stopped playing for like a year. And like, I don't know, I think it was like a year and a half. And then I randomly started playing it again, and then I beat it, and I'll play it never again. It's a mixed bag of feelings with Sekiro. Alright, I'm going to group these next two games up together. Power Rangers Battle for the Grid. That's a nostalgia trip. It's a fighting game with Power Rangers, so obviously I was going to get it. And Mortal Kombat 11. Another fighting game. I played Mortal Kombat 11 with a different group of people than I played the rest of the fighting games with, but I still, you know, have fun and play those two with a decent amount of people. The next game is probably going to be the first Switch game on here. Fire Emblem Three Houses. It's the first Fire Emblem game I've played and the first tactical based game I've played. I didn't actually finish it, but I did enjoy what I played of it. Will I go back and finish it? Maybe one day if I get bored enough, but I don't know. I'd either have to restart or just continue where I left off and be lost as fuck. So I can't really talk too much about it because I think I put maybe like 10 hours into it, maybe 15. Which isn't like a whole lot, because you can do 3 different playthroughs. The next game, Astral Chain. I thoroughly enjoyed this game. Which is odd, because Platinum Games makes Bayonetta, and I disliked Bayonetta. But I enjoyed Astral Chain. Which I'm pretty sure was the first game I played on the Switch. It may not have been. It may have been... No, it was... No, because I got a Switch really late. Yeah, so I think it was the second game I played on the Switch. And yeah, I enjoyed it. I liked how you got to use 5 different, like... They're not personas, but they're like, I don't know, like security things. Whatever the police things were called. I forgot. I think they had an actual name, but I haven't played this in like a year, so I don't remember. But yeah, I thought it was fun. It had difficulty too, which I enjoyed. It was kind of like DMC in a way, where like... It was hack and slash, but there was still some difficulty you had to do in order to progress. This isn't really a game, it's more of an expansion, but because the way Monster Hunter works, they used to do a game followed by like a ultimate version of the game or whatever. This is just that equivalent. Iceborne, I'll touch on that real quickly. It was just an expansion, but it was more than an expansion. It was like another game's worth of content. The game after that is Code Vein. I don't know why I got this game, to be honest with you. I'm not a huge fan of Souls, and this is done by pretty much the same people who did Souls. It was done by the Bandai Namco. It was basically just Weeb Dark Souls, and a lot of fan service. I think that's why I got it, to be honest with you. But yeah, I didn't beat this. I got to like the very last area, and then I just stopped playing because the catacomb area was kind of really annoying and boring. So I did get through most of it though. I got through, I want to say 90%. The next game is another racing game actually, Need for Speed Heat. I bought this just because it was on sale, and I was watching the Fast and Furious movies with the members of Streamers Become Human. And I just really wanted a racing game. I played this on stream once and just quoted Fast and Furious. Then, like, the whole 3 hours. It was fun. Jedi Fallen Order is the second to last game in this year that I'll talk about. I don't know what it was, but I didn't enjoy this game. I played it on Jedi Grandmaster, which is the hardest difficulty. I thought it felt really stuttery. I don't know, maybe it was just because I had controller problems because the one I was using was like fucked up, but every time I went to go deflect or like parry time, it would just like feel like I was getting fucked by internal lag or something. Also, it reminded me of Sekiro, and I didn't like that. The next, well, I guess it's more than one game. It's the Halo Master Chief Collection. These games I played through on stream with Tiff and Rory. I wasn't impressed by the Halo series, if I'm being real with you. I thought the weapons were cool, but that was about it. The story I didn't really give a shit about. It just felt really standard, like... Here's what I don't get. Destiny was basically just go and hold off in one area, and people complained. But that's pretty much what Halo was, too. It was just like, go to this area, kill everything, and then move on. So why? Because Halo had the sentimental value of like people liking it as a kid, it was okay, but when Destiny did it, it wasn't. I don't know. I didn't really care for any of the Halo games. I know that a lot of people love them, but I thought they were just average. I didn't think they were anything special. The first game in 2020, kicking off, is Pokemon Mystery Dungeon Rescue Team DX. That was a mouthful. This game is actually not a new game, but it was just a redone remaster of the original Game Boy Advance Pokemon Mystery Dungeon. With like some elements of the DS one, I think. I played it, I thought it was cool. I thought the art style was cool. It was like a water... or what is it called? Water paint? Watercolor. It looked like that. It was cool. The story was fine. I played it on stream. I actually really enjoyed it. It was really fun too. It was a nice nostalgia trip. The next game on this is Neo 2. I actually haven't beat this game. I've actually only beaten the first boss in this. But I like the changes they made from the first one to the second one. They added some new weapons, and then they added some like different combat mechanics and tweaked a few things. I enjoyed what I played so far, but I didn't get that far, if I'm being honest with you. I should go back and play it, but I don't know. I've just been not in the mood. Alright, this next game I may have controversial opinions about. Final Fantasy VII Remake. I got the Steelbook edition of this, and I beat it in one day, if I'm being honest with you. Well, I played it for like 18 hours straight, and I got to the end point, which is, if you don't want spoilers, but, you know, you fight Sephiroth at the end. I got to that point, and, man, I beat it in like a day, pretty much. I think this game is another game that's held up high by nostalgia, and people just liking it because they played the original one. I feel like this name carries a lot with it. And I won't say anything else because I don't want to trigger even more stands of this game. The next game I'm going to talk about is actually Ghost Runner. Ghost Runner I thought was really fun. The music slaps in this game. And visually it looks amazing. It's a very fun, like, platformy, well, not platformy in the sense of like Spyro, but it's like a parkour. It's basically a game made for speedrunners because it's all about speed. You get timed, there's like abilities you can use, there's like different stuff. It's one hit, one kill. It's kind of like Heaven or Hell in DMC. You die in one hit, but the enemies also die in one hit. And yeah, it's fun. You're basically a cyborg ninja and you run around and kill shit. The next game is going to be a game that not many people can play because not many people own a PS5. Demon Souls Remaster. I thought this game looked amazing. And this is actually my second favorite FromSoft game. I think I said Sekiro I liked more than Souls, but I didn't say it was better than... I don't think I ever said it was like my second favorite. It's funny because the two FromSoft games that are my favorite are the Sony exclusive ones. I don't know what it was. I don't know why I like Dark Souls or Demon Souls over Dark Souls, but I enjoyed Demon Souls much more than I enjoyed Dark Souls. This next game is a title we haven't heard in quite a while. Call of Duty, Black Ops Cold War, came out in 2020. I got it mainly just because I knew a lot of other people who got it, and they played constantly. They don't play as much as they do now, or as they did back in the day, but they still play somewhat. This is the first game I got a mastery camo in, actually. The only other game I got diamond in anything else was Black Ops 2, but I never got diamond for everything. I got diamond for most of the guns. In Black Ops Cold War, I got diamond zombie camo for everything, so now I have Dark Aether. And now I can just go back through and like clean up all the ones I don't have, because you don't really need to do every weapon. You just have to do X amount of that category and you'll get it. So I still have like a bunch of melee weapons I can do and like some machine guns I can do and stuff they add, but I don't really play it as hardcore anymore. This next game, it's a game I had no hype for. I didn't actually want to play. I only bought it because I got it for $15 off before the game came out. That game is Cyberpunk 2077. 2077, I feel like, was carried by its title and hype for several years. This game got announced way back when, and I feel like when it came out, it was super rushed, and everyone who was a huge fan of it before it came out was still trying to defend it and like die on that hill that it was an amazing game, despite not having played it. I thought this game was just vastly mediocre. I think it's like the new age Skyrim, but that's not saying a whole lot. It can't be the new age Skyrim unless you can mod it to absolute hell. And unless they put that in, I don't know. I beat it in like 40 hours. I did multiple endings too because I skipped all the dialogue and I stopped caring because I didn't give a shit about this game to begin with. I had no expectations going into it, and it did not blow me away in any way, shape, or form. Here we are at the home stretch, the last year. Technically, it's a year over, but because 2020 and 2021 were COVID-filled, I combined them together because they felt like a whole year together. And there's all those people who are saying we should redo 2020. Anyway, the first game in 2020 is going to be Monster Hunter Rise. Obviously, you should have seen this one coming, because I've had 3 other Monster Hunter games on this list. Rise, to me, was fun and great at first, but I think because the lack of content because of COVID, I feel really weakened it. The game didn't come out as a complete game on release. They kind of had to wait I think it was like 2 months after the fact to finish the game. And currently, I don't play it at all. I used to play World every single day, nonstop. Monster Hunter Rise, I've not even broke 100 hours. I think by now, I think Rise came out in what, April? It's June now. If I was in World at that time, I would have probably had over 300, 400 hours. I probably would have platinumed it already. But I don't know. There's just not a drive to play this game. I feel like they just need to add more monsters faster. The next game in 2021 is Guilty Gear Strive, and I honestly only own this game because somebody I play fighting games with is very generous, and they gifted me Guilty Gear Strive so that we could play together. This game actually has a killer soundtrack, which I did not expect from a fighting game. I've only played it the one time. I play Mei and Kai. I think that's how you say it, KY. That's not his full name. That's just what everyone else calls him. And it's gonna take a while to get used to this fighting style game because it's like an anime fighter. But overall, I still have fun. As long as you have fun with like the people you play with, it's fine. I also know a lot of other people who were really into this game too, or who like got into it, who I didn't think or didn't know were fighting game players. And to wrap it off, in 2021 with the last game I'm going to talk about, Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart. Now I actually did a whole 20-minute dedicated video review for Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart. If you want to check that out and see my like initial stance, I'm not actually going to like talk about anything about that. In this video, I'm just going to mention that this game is... I think this is a good example of a game not being carried by its title, like the 2016 version was, because the 2016 version I did not enjoy. But this one came back more to its roots, and it did lack some stuff, like the personal edge wasn't there for me. It had some, but it wasn't enough. And like the variety of weapons and whatever. Don't worry about it. If you want to hear my full thoughts and opinions on this game, go watch my actual review. But yeah, this game is great. It takes advantage fully of the PS5 hardware. It looks amazing. It was fun overall. It was a gem to look at. And it was actually the first game I platinumed on PS5. So, yeah. And that's that. That is every single game that I've either, loved, had some strong feelings about, games that meant a lot to me, games that didn't mean a whole lot to me, games I enjoyed, just the whole 10 yards for the past decade of gaming. So, that's the last decade of gaming for me in a nutshell. I made sure to include games that meant a lot to me and games that had a big impact on my life. Now, I'm curious to see what you all have to say about your decade journey of gaming. Let me know down below, and I will see you guys next time.